local people, important issues. CBS 10 WILM's weekly focus on the Lower Cape Fear region. This is Byline Wilmington with your host, Don Ansell.
The Wilmington Housing Authority has always been, or often been, a lightning rod for controversy and media attention. Today we're talking about some of the current issues the agency is dealing with. Joining us for our conversation is the CEO of the Wilmington Housing Authority, Michael Kraus. Thank you for joining us, Michael.
Thanks for having me.
Let's excuse me, start off with a little of your background, where you're from, and how did the job opportunity come to you?
I was born and raised in Ohio and lived there a majority of my life. I'm a lawyer by training and worked at a housing authority there for about 5 years. And the opportunity came to move to Wilmington, applied for the position, and was fortunate enough to get it.
So there was the housing authorities are not unique to Wilmington, or
no? There's about 3,500 housing authorities
really?
Across the country.
And you started on the job in September '08.
That's correct.
Yeah, and give our viewers a sort of a short snapshot of the mission of the Wilmington Housing Authority and what it does.
You know, our primary mission is to meet the affordable housing needs of those families and the communities we live. We do so through providing a variety of services to help better position those families to become more self-sufficient, but primarily we want to build, own, and manage quality affordable housing.
And why do you think the agency's always been the focus of so much controversy and media attention? I've been here for 30-some years, and it's always had a great deal of focus and buzz.
I think the reasons for that are probably many. There were a lot of decisions that were questionable in the housing authority's past that led to some audit findings, or just would be perceived as not such great business decisions.
Over 30 years, I mean.
Well, and I think when you're talking about affordable housing, it's not always something that's well received by everyone in the community. So we do work that.
And you deal with public money.
We do deal with public money, and spending taxpayer dollars, and doing so efficiently and appropriately, I think, is something that the public has a right to be concerned about.
Were you made aware of what you were walking into? As you said, there's been controversies about personnel problems, some serious financial issues, and the history of the controversy that the agencies always seem to generate.
I didn't realize the extent of the problems, so maybe no.
Yeah, and you've generated your share of controversy your first year, not the least of which was a DWI issue. What was that whole thing like for you?
It was challenging, but you still keep focused at doing the work that you're responsible for doing, and I think we've been doing a good job.
Then there was that whole frenzy of media coverage surrounding that issue. Do you think you were unfairly treated by the media?
No.
And what was it like to go through that?
Well,
Did it take a personal toll on you?
It's you face the consequences of your actions, and it's a personal issue and something that I've learned from and have moved on.
Was that a tough time for you and your relations with the Wilmington Housing Authority Board of Commissioners, for whom you work?
It was nothing more than a personal matter, that they were very supportive in me doing that which I needed to do, and I did.
How many board members on Wilmington Housing Authority?
There's 9.
There's 9 board members, and there's been some criticism regarding oversight and of appointed boards in general, and the bodies that they're responsible for. The mayor of Wilmington has the sole power to appoint the Wilmington Housing Authority board members. What are the responsibilities of the board?
I mean, the primary responsibility of the Board of Commissioners to provide oversight to the organization, approve and adopt policy that guides us in carrying forward our mission.
How autonomous is your role?
My role.
Well, what's your role? To carry out the policies, obviously, but how autonomous is your decision making?
I have a good degree of flexibility in the or discretion in the decisions I make. There are certain thresholds after which I need or would require board approval, but generally I'm charged with running the day-to-day operations of the business.
And the board meets what, every month?
The board meets once monthly.
So who decides what business goes before the board for a decision and what you decide on your own? Is that a financial cap? Is there a...
For instance, any purchases that we make in excess of $30,000 require board approval. So that's something that, by our own internal policies, we've set, that's the level at which the board needs approval. HUD only requires $100,000, but we've set a lower limit there.
And the day-to-day operation is discretionary for your...
Yes.
For your operation. The Eastbrook apartment complex is owned by the Wilmington Housing Authority.
Yes.
Correct? And it's been vacant since what, 2007? Which
Yes.
I might add was before this, what we're going to talk about is before your watch. But there's been some structural problems that came to light after it was purchased. What's the status of that complex?
The complex currently remains vacant, and it is still the subject of litigation.
Do you have a plan for that complex once that's settled?
We have had recent discussions with our Board of Commissioners about listing the property publicly for sale or renovating the property. We had submitted a tax credit application to rebuild it and withdrew the application. So there's some things that are on the table for us to consider right now. We're currently engaged the services of an appraiser to conduct an appraisal of the property.
Now, again, before you became CEO, some HUD money was misused. That was revealed in a subsequent audit. Give us your comments on that.
Just that there were sources of funds that had restrictions on its use, and some of those monies were used to pay some of the debt on the Eastbrook property, and for the acquisition of a property that we refer to as Winfield Smith. We had to repay back or pay back different pots of money from within the organization. So no money was lost. It was just a simple accounting transfer, an interfund transfer. But clearly,
so in other words, certain funds were used or misused from HUD, and other funds was from WHA paid that back. Is
yes.
that how it worked? Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll come back and we'll talk about the high-profile case with Wilmington City Councilman regarding the Eastbrook?
Eastbrook.
The Eastbrook property after this. Stay with us.